So, for part three of your story, I want to talk to you about setting. Now, when I'm talking about setting, when you're reading a book, there's a setting in the book. There's a specific time, a location, whatever it might be. We all have a setting, right? In different seasons in our lives. When I think back to after my first divorce, I moved to Orlando, Florida. It was suggested by an evangelist and his wife that I move there to allow myself time to heal from everything that took place during that marriage. And I remember looking back and I'm like, man, after I came back home, I ended up jumping into another marriage. Well, first a relationship shortly and then got married. And when I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, honestly, because I had not completely healed from my first marriage. And it's almost like I owe that man an apology, because like I didn't give him the best version of myself. I couldn't give him that because I wasn't the best version of myself. When I look back, sometimes I think about people that jump from relationship to relationship to relationship of fear of being by themselves. And that's where I was at that particular season or setting in my life, and I'm like, my God, why would I have done that, right? And so many times people do that because of fear. We make decisions based off of what we are afraid of. I was afraid of being by myself, so I made a decision to say, you know what? I don't have to be by myself. It's a choice. Somebody's interested. He was a good man. I'm a good girl because I know I was, but I was broken. And if I want to be honest, like I'm getting emotional about it just thinking because it wasn't fair to him, but we think sometimes we are healed in areas where we're really not healed yet. And because we jump into other relationships, we bring those broken pieces of our lives into another relationship and expect it to work. It can't work. It doesn't work. Regardless of how we sugarcoat it or how we want it to look, it doesn't work that way. We have to heal through things. So my question to you today would be, what decisions are you making off of fear? That's your food for thought because we make the wrong decisions when we base it off of fear of being alone, like I did at that particular setting in my life. I look back and I'm like, so many people make wrong decisions, because of where they are mentally at that time. When we look back, we say, you know what? I've grown. I would have never made that decision like that today. But I've learned so much about myself, as of now to way back then that I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? How did I think that that marriage would have worked and I was shattered, broken, but in my mind, I thought I was healed. A lot of times we're not honest enough with ourselves to recognize that, no, I'm not healed yet. Because we deal with the fear of being by ourselves. So we jump into situations we're really not ready for. Instead of praying about them, letting God's will be done, and thanking God for shielding us from making the wrong decision sometimes. But if we don't give God the time to make those decisions to show us, we take the initiative on our own and make them on our own because it feel right. Just because something feel right doesn't always mean that it's right. And I think that's what we mess up at. Sometimes it feels like we healed when we haven't. Sometimes it feels like we forgiven when we haven't. Sometimes it feels we have no bitterness in our hearts when we do. The list goes on and on. You have to recognize who you are, be true to yourself, be real with yourself, and stop lying to yourself thinking, I'm healed, when in reality you're not. Or I'm forgiven, or I'm not bitter, and all of these things, because that's where we want to be. But where we want to be sometimes is not always where we are. Amen? Amen. So today I leave you with this. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 11. And it says, He had made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he had set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. So before I go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page, invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.